It's a week to honor police throughout the nation, and today the public is invited to a police memorial in Fond du Lac. The department lost an officer in the line of duty in March. Officer Craig Burkholz was killed during a standoff in the city of Fond du Lac, and officials say the suspect, James Cruxon, then took his own life. Officer Ryan Williams, along with his K-9 partner Grendel, were also seriously injured. Both are now back on the job. As for the investigation, the Department of Justice is handling it and has, to this point, declined to answer questions about the shooting. Angela Kelly is learning more about today's memorial and talking with some of the members of the Fond du Lac Police Department.
And she joins us live from Hamilton Park in Fond du Lac with more. Good morning, Angela.
Good morning, everyone. Well, we're joining you from the Fond du Lac Public Safety Memorial, which has been here at Hamilton Park for about 3 years. But just a couple of days ago, they added this bench in memory of Officer Craig Burkholz, who was killed about 2 months ago. Tomorrow it will be. His name is now also etched on this stone, along with some other fallen officers. And I'd like to introduce you to Fond du Lac Police Chief Tony Barthuli. Good morning to you, Chief.
Good morning.
I know when you came here, you met me here, we walked up and you remarked how beautiful this is. What do you think when you see this memory for Craig?
Well, I never thought we'd have, such a beautiful bench in the park, and you asked me how I felt, and every time I see it, it brings a smile to my face that, we have something here that we can pay tribute and memorialize the officers that have served our department and have paid the ultimate price.
Mm-hmm. I know there's not a whole lot that you can say about that day, nearly 2 months ago. But can you bring us back to that day and how you found out and what was kind of going through your mind that morning?
Right, I was out of town. I was by Montello, and I had a phone call from the deputy chief, and Kevin had said that we were exchanging shots. And, I got up and jumped in the car and headed back to Fond du Lac as fast as I could get there, and listening to the radio traffic, and you could hear actually gunfire sometimes in the background when the officers were speaking. So as fast as we could get here, and then just before I entered Fond du Lac, they said we had an officer down. And that was just like, that was just the worst thing that I've ever heard. It just made my heart just about stop. And so then, it was important for me to get some people, and the first thing then you start talking about, we got to get some help for our team. We got to get through this, and this is one of those things, you can't make any mistakes. We need to do this right. So I got a hold of the leader team, and I called in about 4 retired commanders that I personally had worked with, and they helped me through it. And right then and there, I knew how great a team we had, that we would pull the rope in the same direction, and that we would be tighter than we'd ever be. But it was tough. It was one of those feelings that just guts you inside. It's just such an empty feeling. But my main concern then got to be, I need to tell Ashley. I need to be the one to tell Craig's wife. I don't want her here on a phone call or her open up her Facebook account and see it. So we went over there, and that was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life, is to tell Ashley. And I don't know where she gets her strength and where she gets her spirit, but it's very impressive.
Ashley, his wife, will be here today. Members of your department, tell us what we will experience during this memorial today and what today is all about.
The memorial, everybody, when you think of memorials, a lot of times you think about doom, and that it's really sort of the doom part of what we do, but actually it's a tribute too. And I want to make sure this is a tribute. This is an officer, Craig, that raced. Didn't just drive slow, but raced to assist an officer that was injured. And today what we'll do is we'll talk about our 2 other officers that have fallen. Officer Prinsloo, he's on there, and Klasky, and then there's a couple things that we have for Ashley and her family from the International Chiefs of Police. We also have Ed Wall here, who is the administrator for the DCI, the Criminal Investigations. So he's going to talk, and then Tom Hare, our city manager, who's a retired colonel, is going to be the keynote speaker. But one of the things we want to talk about is the ultimate sacrifice that they paid for the community, the dedication that they had, and the honor for service that they had. You know, the police work or firefighting is a calling, and there's the dangerous part of it. Now, we've seen it 3 times in our department since we've been in existence. That's, you know, for a smaller department, that's quite a bit. And the other thing I want to do is thank the other law enforcement agencies, but especially the community, how they supported us. You know, they put gas in our tank when it was near empty, and you know, I'll always remember, you know, what the community did to us, the way our team responded in such a professional manner, and then Officer Williams, like, he was the best medicine. Him and Grendel, getting healthy. I mean, there's a guy that in all cases could have easily been dead too. Yeah. But he fought it. He didn't want to die, and he got through it. And he's been He's just been such an inspiration. I mean, coming back, the first thing he wants to do is go to the schools and thank the kids. I mean, that just shows you what a class guy he is.
Well, we certainly are looking forward to talking with him this morning as well, and we are so thankful to be talking with you. Coming up in our next segment, we'd really like to focus on, I know you're going to be retiring next month, and what your hopes are for the future of the department, so we'll talk with you a little bit more about that.
Okay.
And I also think it's kind of great what he said, you know, especially you have to remember that this week is National Police Week, so remembering what all police officers, emergency medical service workers do to keep us safe and oftentimes, sometimes, pay the ultimate sacrifice. So we'll join you live here again from Fond du Lac coming up in about a half an hour.